time right now?
Live on
I'm good. I'm good. Sun soccer game at 2 p.m., but I'm good until then.
All right, beautiful. So we're live on Facebook, YouTube. Next will be Instagram.
Live on Instagram.
Beautiful. Give everyone a minute to jump in here, but I'm going to introduce Scott. For everyone who doesn't know, Scott, I found Scott on YouTube a couple years ago now, right? And then I messaged you. We got in like a conversation, and then I hired you to help me out with ads, SEO, everything. Actually, it was ads originally. And then as we started talking, you were like, well, you can't run ads if your SEO is crap. And so we got to fix the basic structure first. So I had to learn to crawl before I can actually walk or run. And if you don't follow Scott, Scott has an amazing YouTube channel. He's on Instagram, but your YouTube channel specifically, the depth and the way you just articulate strategy and you make it so simple. The SEO simple, the ads are simple, and you really kind of demystify the SEO agencies and the ad agencies that are out there. And I think that a lot of people feel like I need to hire an agency to do this when they don't. And so take us through your background. Let my audience who is watching right now, because a lot of salon owners, they hire someone for 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 a month and they get no results. And so take us through your background, who you are, let the people know.
Yeah, so happy to share my origin story. And Nick, thank you for having me on. What an exciting day here. But before I do, I have to share like how we actually met, because I think that story is interesting.
Okay.
All right. So Nick, you are one of the hardest working guys that I know. And so, yes, Nick found me through one of my YouTube channel videos. But Nick also commented, it was like 5:30 in the morning. And at that time, that's when I was doing my editing for my videos. And so I responded to a comment, and then that led to a conversation at like 5:30 in the morning. So I just want to say, like, shout out to you. You are one of the hardest working men that I know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So my story, I'll give the Cliff Notes version of it. So I graduated from college in 2011, and this was the recession. And this was a time where most of the people that I was going to school with, they were going to getting jobs in sales. They were, fully commissioned sales jobs, I'm from Virginia, so like the Northern Virginia area. And my senior year of college, there was a very interesting class that I took, and it was on digital marketing. And in this class, again, time period is the recession. But during this class, there was a graph that was shown the demand for internet marketers and the supply of people that were actually trained to do it. So during that time period where it was like, man, how am I going to get a job after school? There's no openings. I'm just going to have to take a sales job in an area that I don't want to live in. And I looked at this and I was like, holy smokes. Like, if I can learn this, if I can master this, like, there's tremendous opportunity here. And so what I did at that time was I went to Google and I typed in digital marketing company. And I figured, you know what? The company that's ranking at the top of Google for that, they're probably practicing what they preach, right? And so I did that. I found a company that was based in Pennsylvania, a digital marketing agency. And I interviewed with them and I got the job. And holy smokes, what an unbelievable opportunity to learn. I mean, I was working with 30 to 40 businesses. I was learning so much. Google and digital marketing was growing so much during that time period. And so it was an unbelievable opportunity for me to learn, but I got my experience working for an agency. So to your point, it's like my channel, I try to speak to small business owners and people that might not have that much training in digital marketing. Because during my time at the agency, I was like, oh my goodness, these business owners know their space like no one else. Like, Nick, you are a master of all things hair and salon. So for me to come in and try to be like an imposter and be like, hey, Nick, like, let me tell you, like, you know your business.
Yeah.
So I just thought, man, if I could help small businesses and give them the roadmap, give them some education on how to do digital marketing, if they can combine their knowledge of their business with the right path and understand it's not, you say this all the time on your show, it's not that complicated. Like, I just feel like not only can businesses save a ton of money over time, but also I feel like that can lead to the best results.
It can.
So That's my origin story.
It's funny because as you say that, I worked with somebody, he might be even watching this video. He does some SEO stuff for me, just the heavy lifting I feel like doing, like with Bright Local, organizing that, and like just some like citation building for me. He's like, let's do an agency and and charge salons. We could charge them $4,000 a month. I'm like, I don't think you really follow me. I teach this so salons don't need to pay someone $4,000 a month. They could hire someone because once you learn the language, you could hire someone on Upwork or a virtual assistant to do most of the heavy lifting for you. But you don't need to pay someone $4,000 a month if you know the language, you know what you're doing. You just don't. Now, if you're a billion-dollar company, obviously it's a completely different scale. But if you're a local small business or a salon, you're a plumber, electrician, a lash tech, a brow tech, you don't need to spend that much money and not that much time. With AI, so I'm going to back up because I don't think I talked to you since we had Notebook LM in the picture. I just sat down with one of my clients. He's struggling. He's like, I didn't get any blogs up yet. I'm like, his name is James. I'm like, James, shout out to James, by the way. I screen shared. What products do you have on your website? Because I built him a Shopify store. L'Oreal Curl Mousse. Perfect. Went to YouTube. L'Oreal Curl Mousse reviews. Found a girl. Copied URL. Notebook LM. Got her whole transcript, briefing doc. ChatGPT. I copy and pasted his on his footer, his address, name, and number. Put it in ChatGPT. Create me an SEO-friendly blog using proper H tags off of this information. Bloop, spit it out. Now you have an SEO-friendly blog on your website. In James, it took me under 10 seconds to get that done.
Incredible.
And then from there, I made a Google business page update for him. And then I was like, create me a very unique Reddit post in the beauty section of Reddit so we can link back to this article if anyone's searching for information on this particular mousse. And so in a matter of minutes, I showed him how you can scale the whole internet from Reddit to a newsletter, to an email marketing campaign, to a YouTube video, he's like, wow. And honestly, I would not have known that if I never hired you because I just didn't know. Like, you're a professional. It's like if you had to learn how to do hair and you just started watching videos on doing hair and tried to figure it out yourself, you probably wouldn't be pretty good at it. So having your expertise, because I had somewhat of an idea and a concept of it, but you just opened up a whole can of worms for me in terms of SEO.
Thinking about how we met and the coaching sessions that we originally had, in my opinion, constraints can fuel creativity, right? And so for you specifically, you've got so much going on, right? You can't dedicate 20 hours in a day to digital marketing. So it's like, what are those things? What's the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, right? What are those things that you can do that will drive the best results? And going down that path, it's like, okay, well, when you factor in the Pareto principle and maybe limited time, that can then breed the use of AI and finding more efficient ways to do things. And so what I loved about working with you is, would share, hey, here's a new tool, you jump right on it. And then you'd be sharing tools with me. So it was reciprocal.
Yeah. I want to actually go over my ad strategy with you that I'm doing with salons. I want to know your idea and your opinion on it, and just poke holes in it, rip it apart, and tell me if it's shit. So PMax, right? PMax is something I've always battled with because I did so well with shopping, and then PMax came out and it kind of like ruined my shopping campaigns. Not ruined it, but I had a new thing I had to learn because smart shopping was gone. I'm using PMax on a local level now, which I know some people say not to use it locally. And I use it strictly for salons that have a Shopify store because you have a shopping feed. I'm using it within an 8-mile radius of my salons as a campaign that I can now capture people who are searching for a product, and I can retarget to them relatively easily to acquire them as a customer for a product, and then get them in my ecosystem for my email marketing or in-salon pickup. And I'm using that as a tool in that facet. Now, I'm also want to pair that with, search and with shopping, but for some salon owners, it's a lot to set up a search campaign. And I felt having a PMax campaign was relatively easy, as you can just fill out your assets, you have the pictures. And I thought that was a good strategy to use. What do you think of that strategy?
Yeah, so I think before I dive in and provide some feedback on that, let's take a step back and look through Google's lens of why Performance Max even exists. Okay. And so for those of your audience that don't know, Performance Max is Google's we'll call it the campaign to rule them all. So when you open up Google Ads, there's several different campaign types that you can select. You can select search, you can select shopping, you can select video, you can select, there's a bunch of them. And what Performance Max tries to do is it says, hey, you tell us what your goal is, and then we will use all of the placements that we have in our arsenal. So if you didn't know, Google owns Google Chrome, Google owns YouTube, right? And so you tell us what you want, you upload your assets, or you give us your products, and then we will try to accomplish your goals for you. So from Google's side, this is an absolute home run, because when I first got started in digital marketing in 2010, 2011, when you would create a Google Ads account, one of the first things that you would do is you would start to exclude low quality placements, right? So back at that time, the conversion rate on mobile devices was nowhere near as high as the conversion rate on desktop. So one of the first things you would do, you would launch a campaign. Hey, let me give a mobile modification of minus 100%. I don't want to show on mobile devices. And what you could do from that is drive unbelievably efficient results. But from Google's side, that's a problem, because they have all this ad inventory. Google Alphabet is a publicly traded company, so they want to make money. So if all these businesses are excluding apps, excluding mobile devices, that's a lot of lost revenue for Google. So what Google did with Performance Max, they said, hey, unfortunately, you're not going to have any ability to exclude all this stuff, but just tell us what your goal is, and then we'll start serving ads on all these different placements. Okay. So it's a home run for Google. It can be a home run for businesses, because from a time perspective, you don't have to do the research and say, I'm going to do a negative mobile adjustment of minus 60%, minus 70%, or whatever. So it can be a huge win. Now, with your strategy, I do like what you're doing. But I would say I have a love-hate relationship with Performance Max.
Me too.
Yeah. So I feel like Performance Max is wonderful. The time savings is great, right? If you can get it locked in and dialed in and it's efficient for you, phenomenal. But when something goes wrong and you try to troubleshoot it, it's a black box. What do you do?
Nothing.
So with your strategy specifically, go ahead.
You just get pissed and you're like, I don't know what it worked 2 weeks ago. Why is it not working today? Or for the next 2 months, you're like, I don't have any idea why my ROAS was at, that's return on ad spend, everyone. Like why it was at 500%. Now it's at 120. I didn't make any changes to anything. I didn't touch my budget. I didn't touch my ROAS percentage I wanted to target. It just somehow, some way, it just changed. Have you ever experienced that before with clients?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Now with Performance Max, the way that you're using it, okay, so Performance Max for e-commerce, right? So when people are trying to buy products online, Performance Max, obviously you can set up a campaign like that. But then even for lead generation, you can set a Performance Max campaign up. Now, my preference is running a Performance Max campaign for e-commerce over lead gen. And there's one main reason. Most businesses don't have proper spam protections. And so let's say there's a lead form on a website, right? So you've got a salon, it's like book an appointment, right? And then it goes to a standard thank you confirmation page. Well, what happens is if there's bot traffic or spam traffic that fills out that clicks the ad, fills out that form automatically, and then they submit, since Google is Performance Max is performance based, it sees that and it's like, oh my goodness, that was so easy. Let's get more of that. So all of a sudden, an efficient Performance Max campaign, all of a sudden you're flooded with spam submissions. And it's like, what can I do? So for what you're describing, I think it's solid. But businesses need to know the pros and cons. Pros, time saving. Cons, when it goes wrong, it's tough to troubleshoot.
So would you suggest, because they have the new local campaign, I just saw it pop up for certain businesses. If you're licensed, you could submit your stuff. And then there's search and local campaigns. Just break down the difference for a person who's beginning. They got a brand new salon. I want to advertise on Google.
Yes.
Like, I know you should start obviously with a properly structured website. Your pixels and all your different tagging codes from Google, make sure they're in there so you're able to track everything. Conversion tracking, all that needs to be set up. Whole different conversation. But if you had to give some advice to a brand new person, I started my business today, I want to start advertising on Google, what would you do?
Okay. So my high level advice is actually counter to what a lot of the gurus will tell you out there. And a lot of the agencies will tell you. I always say, start small, and then start to grow from there. What a lot of agencies will say, hey, create a campaign and target every keyword known to mankind surrounding your business and then see what happens. And then you're going to get so much data that you can learn from to then drive a more efficient campaign. But here's the problem. That business just dropped $10,000 on Google Ads and was spending $7 for a keyword click, and it did absolutely nothing for them. So when I look at it from the business perspective, what I say is, hey, start small. So in terms of the different campaign types you were asking, okay, so there's search campaign. That would be the first campaign that I would recommend most businesses to set up. And I would actually say to get, to get some reps in, set up a standard search campaign targeting your own company or salon's name. Okay. And target it on, so there's different keyword match types. So there's broad, phrase, and exact. And basically that means how far out can Google go from the keyword that you input to what they actually show your ad for. And so if you create a search campaign targeting your company's brand name on exact match, that's going to allow you to put some reps in, and you're going to start to see, oh, I just appeared in Google search. Okay, what is this thing? Oh, this is an ad extension. How can I optimize this? And I would say like that would be a great gateway to then start targeting those terms that your customers that don't know about you are actually typing into Google.
Cool. I like that. Demand gen. What do you think of it?
Oh man, these are hot takes. I don't even know if I've shared some of this stuff on my channel with demand gen. I personally,
before you answer, so Google invited me out to the headquarters like a year or two ago when I was crushing ad spend, but then I peeled back my ad spend to focus more on SEO and organic because it just scales better on the long term, right? Quick money, Google's going to win, but eventually you're going to run out of budget. It just is inevitable because Amazon comes in, Ulta, bigger dogs in the game. But organic, you could run. So at the time they invited me out there, and demand gen just came out, and they set me up with this campaign structure and budget where it was substantial every day. Like they must have thought I was Jeff Bezos, and it would have been like, I'm talking 150,000 a month on average is what they wanted me to budget everything to. And demand gen just came out, and I never pulled the plug on it because you kept ringing in my ear because we had worked together already, and I was like, all right, let me pump the brakes on it. It's a new thing they're putting out, like a new campaign type. I was like, I'm not going to be their test subject for this. I already did that for PMAX. And so what's your opinion on it now? I just wanted to give preface to how I got introduced to it.
Man, I don't want to give every answer as it depends, but it does depend. Yeah. It does depend. So with demand gen, to define what demand gen is like versus performance max, like I'll call it a poor man's performance max campaign. Okay. So demand gen is extremely similar to performance max, but is more for prospecting, meaning getting your name out there to your potential audience. Okay. So whereas performance max is more conversion based, like, hey, Google, I'm giving you $1. I want you to give me $10 back. Demand gen is I want to find my potential audience so that they can see me across Google's network of placements. And if they see me, then they're in my ecosystem. They can sign up for my email list, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of crossover with demand gen versus performance max. But for me, if I have, $1,000 to spend in Google ads, I do not like that with the demand gen that I'm throwing my money into Google's black box. So if you are trying to have people that don't know about you find out about you, and you're looking for a low cost option, all right, so there's something called the Google Display Network. So as you are browsing the internet, you'll be reading an article and there will be an ad box. A lot of times those websites have opted into the Google Display Network, okay? And so your audience is out there surfing the web, reading these types of articles and browsing forums, et cetera. And so from my perspective, the lowest cost way from a prospecting perspective to introduce yourself to new customers is through the Google Display Network. And a super powerful thing about the Google Display Network is you can actually handpick the websites that you appear on. So if you were to run a demand gen campaign, you might think to yourself, you might look at the stats and say, oh my goodness, like I'm appearing on these mobile apps like Angry Birds and all these, like what the heck's going on? Why would you want to spend $1,000 on that when you could spend $1,000 appearing on, in your industry, on a hair blog, a salon blog, something like that?
Cool. Can you handpick what YouTube videos you want to appear on too? Not in display. Would that be display or would that be YouTube differently?
So that would be a display. You could do a display campaign targeting that. Yes. So with display campaign types, you can handpick the videos, you can handpick the websites that you want to appear on. Now, there's one asterisk with that. If the YouTuber, for example, if they're a monetized YouTuber, you can actually, that person can exclude different types of advertisers from running ads on their website. So they could say, hey, I don't want anyone in the hair industry to advertise on my YouTube channel. And so if they did that, you can still select it, but you might not get any impressions from it. But you could, there's no harm in trying to see if you can get on that channel.
So trying to think for YouTube, you could then display network for your local 8-mile radius then. Could you just limit to anyone who lives in Fairfield, New Jersey, who's on a YouTube channel, learning about how to color their hair at home? Your salon can then pop up on display. You can limit to that geographic audience. Awesome.
You got it. You got it. Yeah.
Because this is like, I'm just a nerd when it comes to stuff like this. And I enjoy it. It's like, I enjoy marketing. I enjoy the aspect of SEO. Like I really do enjoy listening to like your YouTube channel. So a lot of owners, like just listen to it, learn the language. So this isn't a foreign language to you, because you're going to hire somebody to do this for you. And if you don't speak their language, you're probably not going to be happy with the result, or you won't know what you're looking at. That's even like another important thing. That's why a lot of agencies, I feel, when they start bringing people on who are really new to this, they don't understand, hey, there's going to be some testing that needs to happen. Like, especially with Google, you kind of like, obviously you could target keywords like search, but if you really want to grow a business, it's going to either take a lot of effort in terms of time, creating content, SEO, blogging, or a lot of money to get traction. You could do both very slow and steady, but if you want fast results, it's going to cost.
Yeah.
Right. So like for someone who wants, I mean, I did it myself when I first started. I spent, I think it was almost $100,000 in 3 months. I had no idea. No idea. I didn't know what a ROAS. I had no idea what a ROAS was. I didn't know what a campaign type. I didn't know anything. I just Shopify gave me a plugin, and it was a Google Ads plugin that I would put a budget on, and then I would get the alert saying, "Hey, if you spend X amount of dollars more, you'll get X amount of results more." So I would be like, "Yes, yes, yes," to the point where I was spending like several $1,000s a day at one point. I was getting sales, but those sales, like I was spending $50 to make $10 profit. And so if you don't have a good lifetime value of a customer, if you don't understand your customer acquisition cost. So when it comes to PMax, I'm going to go back into that again for targeting for new customers, because you have that selection in there. And so is it good for that, you think, like to just only target for new customers because you have that option on there, and then run a separate retargeting campaign? What's your whole, like your thought process on retargeting versus just only bidding for new customers? Where does that sit with you?
Yeah. It's fine to do. I've seen businesses that have a strategy where they're all in. So when you're setting up a Performance Max campaign, you can check the box that says, hey, I want to target new customers. And then Google asks you, how do you want to define a new customer? And that's perfectly fine to do. However, if you're selling products online, it's a knife fight every single time someone searches on Google. So even if someone they had a positive experience, they purchased something from your website and they had a positive experience, right? They're going to still sometimes search Google. And if you're not appearing for them in that moment, then your competitor might get the sale. And so, yes, I think that there's one strategy that you could run Performance Max targeting new visitors and then have a really good remarketing campaign set up. And that's just fine. For me personally, I have a simple approach. I don't often do that. I leave that unchecked. I have Performance Max targeting new customers, and I have Performance Max targeting returning customers.
Well, so I got my notes for you here. I love picking.
And hey, I gotta say one thing, Nick. I just want to shout you out. So SEO, digital marketing, PPC, it's not hard, but there is one thing that you have to do if you want to be successful, and that's just being consistent. And so like, that's something for you. Like, Oh my goodness. Your consistency with posting online, with creating posts, with creating social media content, like that's something that unless you want to spend tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertising, and you're like, I just don't want to mess with it. There is an element that you have to be consistent to have success.
Oh, yeah, hands down. And people, like, you can't just post one time and expect the results to happen. Like I say this with my team. They're like, well, I posted yesterday. And like Gary Vee is a beast. Like I love Gary. And Gary talks about consistency 60 times a day across all platforms. But that's if you don't want to advertise and spend money, it's free. Everything's free. TikTok is free, YouTube is free, Facebook is free, Instagram is free. You come up organically on Instagram now. And so if you don't structure your Instagram page properly, you don't structure your website properly. When someone Googles best hairstylist in New Jersey or Fairfield or whatever, your Instagram now is going to show in those results. And what's actually really cool is there's a section now on Google for short videos. So that means your reels, that means your TikToks, your shorts on YouTube, and just being on YouTube. Because a lot of people they kind of ignore YouTube. I feel in our industry they're more focused on TikTok, but Google owns YouTube, so it's a search engine, like the second largest search engine in the world. So it's really important that you just dive in. And if you can't create content for all of them, just create content for one, spread it across all the channels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you at least hit everybody in at least in your local market. So that's being consistent is the most important thing. And just once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever consistent is for you, get that cadence going. For me, it was every day. I want to get to the point where I'm like doing 3 to 5 a day.
Love it.
Yeah. So but I can do it because I'm set up for that now. Now I'm not doing hair anymore. I retired behind the chair, I think like last year around this time, June fully. But yeah, so now I could just create content and do my salon stuff every day.
Incredible.
So,
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the YouTube short just created itself because I have no doubt we're going to repurpose this. And it's the key to business success is consistency. So we can just chop that part off.
Yeah. But that's just get a camera, document.
Yeah.
So many people like, I don't know what to post. Do you understand that there's someone on YouTube eating cereal right now with 100,000 views on that video of them eating a new cereal without even talking on camera? Like Ryan's Toys. The mom just remember the old, Ryan's Toys, the kid who plays with toys.
I've heard the name.
Ryan's World.
Keep going. Yeah.
This kid, Ryan, his mom filmed him opening toys when he was like a young kid. This is like 15 years ago now, at this point. He's worth like, James, look up how much Ryan's Toys is worth.
A lot of money.
What he did last year.
A lot.
He did like $50 million. Something insane. He got a deal with Walmart for toys. All they did on YouTube was she filmed her son opening toys, organically picked up traffic. Kids watch this kid open toys.
Wow.
Now advertising budget came in, and now he's a deca millionaire.
Millionaire. He's worth estimated over $100 million.
Oh. And he's what, 15 years old?
Let's see.
At this point, consistently just doing that. So obviously the beauty industry, that's my channel.
2024.
Yeah, I turned 12 last year.
Oh my goodness.
So the beauty industry is $1 billion industry. If you just talk hair, beauty, things you're into, and all it does is get you around, in front of more people, they're going to either come to your salon or buy your product. And so I'm going to talk about some digital products here for a second, because I moved my business model, or like my mindset around business and ads and everything I've been doing, learning about Shopify, to more of a digital landscape. And I created this thing called the personal economy. And so it's an aspect of service, product, and knowledge. Knowledge meaning like what you and I do, like you originally do coaching, mentorship, digital products. Then there's actually tangible products you can sell, which could be, let's say for me, it's obviously hair products, blow dryers, curling irons, things like that. And then you have services. So you can do the service for somebody. You can sell them the course to do it for them, or you can sell them a computer so they can actually do it themselves, just to keep the conversation easy. For me, it was I sell shampoo online. I could do haircuts in my salon, but now I could create a digital product, whether using Kajabi, I use Shopify now for that, and sell my blowout tutorial to the masses. And so if you're creating all this content, you're documenting everything, or if you own a salon and you have an internal curriculum to train your team and teach them how to do haircuts and color, you could take all of that stuff and you could create a program for that, a digital course, and sell it to everyone who doesn't work in your salon. And so now if you learn how to do it the right way with SEO organically or ads or YouTube, you could have a stream of income coming in from content you already created for your internal team and potentially make yourself an extra 20, 30, $40,000 a month just on the side for stuff you already have. And so for anyone out there who's like, I'm not good at technology, I don't want to learn it. Well, you have to kind of have a conversation with yourself, because we live in an age right now where the opportunity to generate an income online is endless. It really is endless. And so for anyone out there who's like, I'm lost, you have to do yourself a favor right now. Go to YouTube, put in Scott's channel, Scott Redgate, and you're going to get like a crash course and master's degree in SEO and Google ads and everything, just to bring you up to speed. Because very few people articulate things the way you do, as simple as you do, so it's easily digestible. And that's the problem. You get in there, and I follow a lot of channels, and I have a hard time following them. Like, what is this guy telling me to do? And like, they're sharing their screen. But if you're lost in this world right now, I co-sign on Scott 100%, but he does it in a way that you can easily digest and you can learn it. And so you were the first one to tell me years ago about Kajabi. And so it was like, hey, this digital product. I'm like, yeah, these girls are teaching highlights on there. And then I'm like, I can do that, but I don't want to teach haircutting anymore. Like, I love the SEO stuff. I love the business stuff. I love all that. And that's how I got into coaching. It was really from you, because you sparked that interest. So thank you. And all my clients should thank you too. And the cool thing is, now I always knew Shopify. And so I'm going to share this with you. I'm using Shopify as my course platform now.
Love it.
And so I have the ability, this is a little hack. Hopefully you don't watch this and shut me down. So Instagram and Facebook, you have your Instagram shop. So you can't sell digital products on there. But if you mark it off as a shippable product and put free shipping, it goes into your shop on your Instagram. And so if you have digital products, you can actually plug and play these digital products in there as well. Same thing. Well, Google, the Merchant Center still didn't allow me yet, because they're on to me. And on your YouTube channel, you can, if you sell products, like let's say for a stylist out there, if you have a YouTube channel and you're doing product reviews, your merchant feed can display underneath your YouTube channel. So it's really accessible to clients. So there's so much that's out there that you might be overwhelmed trying to figure out on your own. You don't have to, because YouTube is like the university of universities, and Scott is probably the best professor out there, I would say, when it comes to this realm. So it's been amazing just to watch you, like from day, like, I mean, you had like, I don't know, maybe a couple followers in the beginning when me and you started first
followers. Rewatch those videos, and that's another thing. You just got to start. You rewatch some of the original videos, and it looks, it's painful to watch, but you just got to start, and you'll get better over time.
Yeah, it's so great to watch you, come and just start creating content now. And the thing I love is you're so smooth. Do you read off a prompter, by the way?
No.
Yeah, because I didn't think so, but you do it. You're so well versed and scripted, and you articulate so well. It seems scripted in a good way. Like, it's so well thought out, because you know your subject, right? You've been doing it long enough.
Nick, you just made my day. No, thank you so much for the kind words, man. I really value and appreciate our friendship, and to tie a bow on some of the stuff that we talked about earlier in the conversation, for those that are intimidated by technology, okay, but they know their space. Everyone has an iPhone or an Android. You can pull out your phone, the voice recorder app, and record yourself just talking about a subject, right? And then you can go into ChatGPT and have it create a blog post or an article based on what you just said. And if you think about it, when I was working for an agency in 2011, the going rate to have someone else create a blog post for you was $350 to $500 for a short blog post.
A post.
And that was from someone for a single blog post. One
Yeah.
post. And that was, I mean, think of inflation. I mean, that's probably closer to $1,000 now. But if you think about it, that would be someone else that doesn't know your space writing an article for you. And so then what would happen is the business owner would, this doesn't make sense, or let me edit this. And so then it would take even more time from the business owner. So they just paid $500 and they just had to do almost all the work. And so now it's just so unbelievable. Record yourself talking to someone else, and then use AI to create a post, and
Yeah.
you have an unbelievable blog post on your hands.
For someone who's like, I don't use ChatGPT, or I dabbled with it, but it doesn't. What can I use it for? What can't you use it for?
Hmm.
I'm guessing you use it every day, right?
Every single day.
So here's a cool thing I'm having fun with right now. I have Grok 3 and I have ChatGPT, both the premium versions. And so I'll run ChatGPT and I'll have Grok analyze it and give me the updates. And I'll take the advice and run it back through ChatGPT and vice versa.
Oh, goodness.
And so it's wild. I created my whole family trust through both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like it's an $18,000 trust for the guy who gave me the idea on it. And I literally, it's amazing. And then it created me a QuickTime deed to QuickTime deed my house into the trust.
Oh my God.
The things I do on AI are bananas. So what I want to try and do, I just have, people message you on Instagram and they try and sell you like let me write you emails for you. Let me do this for you. And so I was just messing around with somebody in my DMs and they're like, do you have any automation set up? I go, yeah, actually I have an amazing automation using Zapier, Notebook LM, and ChatGPT and Klaviyo and my Shopify store where I have my I run in a bunch of different URLs for YouTube videos into ChatGPT, which spits them out to Zapier, which spits them to Notebook LM, brings them back to ChatGPT, sends my email to Klaviyo, then pushes the Shopify and sends me an automatic newsletter all through automations. And I don't do anything. And they were like, do you have that set up? I'm like, yeah, if you'd like coaching. And so it's not even a real setup. Like guys, it's not real. I just made that up. But I said that to him and I thought to myself, that's actually probably pretty possible. Like the way AI is working right now. Because Zapier, for anyone who doesn't know, Zapier is just an automation tool that connects different apps so they can talk to each other. And so I was thinking, like, we're going to get to a point now where you really could be $1 billion company with the proper setup and maybe be by yourself as an employee, maybe one or two assistants. Like, I think we're going to see the first $1 billion company happen as a solo person with the proper use of AI. Where do you see AI going?
Man, you're just dropping great question after great question today. Well, when you appeared on my channel, it was probably a year or so ago. I think you were, to quote you, was like, AI is like the lifeblood of everything that we do now. So where do I think it's going? It's only going to get more intense. And so, like, let's look at Google search, for example. The days of doing a Google search and seeing 2 ads and 10 organic listings, they're done. They're done. Google just released, and it's currently in beta. And so if you subscribe to Google's premium Gemini product, you have access to it, or you can apply to see it. But they have something called the AI mode. And what the AI mode is, essentially, Google is answering the full question for you, and they'll provide some links to some resources for it. But even Google, a company that makes its money off of all the advertisements, off of sending traffic to other websites and then showing advertisements on those websites, Google is even going down the path where they're completely all in on AI. And yes, they are going to monetize it. They are going to find more ways to make money from it. But I think it's just a sign of like a company that, the search results page used to be so pure, and we're going down a path where I don't even know if the search results page will exist in any form that we're used to it. And so if that type of change is happening, think about how every other type of business and every other aspect of life is going to change from it.
Yeah, I think it's even more important now to have a structurally sound website with content that adds value to your potential customer.
Yes.
Because when they search best hair salon near me, yes, you're going to come up. But when they search, how do I fix a bad hair color job for my industry? I'm going to be like contextual for them. And you have a blog that teaches someone how to strip color their hair at home, or how to do something when it comes to a haircut or hair color, or eyelashes or eyebrows, and AI like Gemini or another product out there uses your blog to serve that up there. The authority that's going to provide for you, because you're now the person that AI is using, it's huge. And so if you think like, oh, what's blogging going to do for me, or what's a website do for me? Because everyone's like so heavy in social media, it's everything. Like it's
Yes.
all going to connect the dots. So you need all of it. You really do.
Yes. Let's say this.
Yeah.
So the Google search results page, as we know it, is changing. However, what we're talking about with having a sound structural website with good content, that's going to elicit signals that, in the old days of SEO would help you rank near the top of Google. But a lot of those same signals are going to help you become the response that the AI has. So if someone says, salon near me that does blah, 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 you have put in the work. And so Google's recognized, hey, they've got a blog post on this. They've got another thing on it. They've got products on it. We're going to serve them as the #1 AI result based on all that foundational work that you put in.
Yeah. And more, I think now it just popped in my head. All these like old school SEO hacks and like keyword stuffing and black magic type SEO stuff is AI is going to see right through that.
Yes.
It's gonna get your website or whatever completely blacklisted. So you got to make sure when you do hire a team or you do hire someone or do it yourself, don't take any shortcuts
100%.
at all.
100%.
Not at all. All right, Scott. I mean, I can geek out with you for like hours and hours and hours, but I mean, people's brains are probably fried right now. So I want anyone who's watching this right now, just pause it, go to YouTube, put in Scott Redgate, and then click subscribe to his channel, please. You have a free download too on there, right?
I do. Yes.
Access. All right. So
Yep.
go there, watch the video. He always has a call to action for that. But how can they find you other platforms if they wanted to get in touch with you, hire for coaching or anything along those lines?
Yeah. So for your audience specifically, Nick, because of our friendship. So I've got a document that I came out with. It's called the AI Online Marketing Playbook. I still feel like one of the downsides of some of the AI tools, if you have no idea what you're doing and you say, create a headline of blank or create an SEO title tag of blank, there still can be a lot of inconsistencies with that until you start to understand the language. So I created a document and it's 60 prompts that I use in ChatGPT that have some of the basics and have some of those foundational elements already built in. It's called the AI Online Marketing Playbook. You can get it at scottredgate.com/playbook. And for your audience, Nick, if they type in the promo code HAIR, they will save 25% off.
Oh, that's awesome. See that, guys? Spreading the love from everywhere. Scott, honestly, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to finally catch up. We've been chatting in the Instagram chats for a while, trying to get this set up. But yeah, I want to just thank you again for everything you've ever done for me on the coaching level of things, and all the content you put out is just, it's immeasurable how much it helps me on a day-to-day basis. Like just today, your timing for PMAX campaigns, well, like time management for your ads, like when to show them, when to not show them. You just came out with that video not long ago, I don't think.
Yep.
I commented today on it. You see the comment? Yeah.
Replied.
Yeah. I got to look at this, the reply for that. But yeah, I learn every day from Scott. The cool thing is this is your space. And so it changes so fast. Like this whole digital landscape of marketing, everything you think works right now could literally be completely obsolete in 6 months from now or be dramatically different. Like the foundations are going to be the same. So it's important that you just subscribe to people that you trust and just to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry. So you're not lost and you have your team telling you one thing that you hired and it's really not relevant anymore. I see that happen a lot. So everyone who's watching right now, go follow Scott. Scott, thank you for spending this afternoon with me, and enjoy your son's soccer game.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah,
Always
you're
a pleasure,
welcome,
my
guys.
friend. Thank
Yeah.
you.
James, we're going to kick off. And Scott, just hang on for a second.